Conversation in Construction, a new podcast series by ALEC, addressing some of the prevailing challenges in today's market and views by some of the most respected professionals. Today I'm pleased to be joined by Imad Itani, ALEC Innovation Manager, and Hussam Droubi, Head of Marketing for Hilti. Today we are in Hilti headquarters in Dubai. Behind me we have J-Bot, this amazing robot that you will know a little bit more about in the next few minutes. Welcome. Imad, Hussam, thank you so much for your time today. We are at Hilti Training Center. Very exciting, first time here, so I'm sure you will tell us all about it. Imad, let's start with you. What does innovation mean to you? What do you think is going to happen this year? Anything exciting? What do you think?
Yeah, thanks Hussam also for hosting us here. It's not the first time for me, and it will not be the last time. So innovation means a lot of things for different people. But as a company, we had a clear direction of what we want to achieve. The first thing is to have everyone in the business continuously thinking of things to make things better. So every single person in ALEC want to be innovative, thinking differently, and improve things as we go. Now, there is a big debate around the world between improvement and invention, and that's why we're actually here today. We are more concentrating on improving our business, how efficiency, productivity, and all of this, and that's why we partner with people like Hilti and others, because they are inventing the tools and the products that help us in making our work more efficient.
I fully agree, Imad. I think, Deborah, for us, Hilti is a company built on innovation. So in everything we do, we try to do things different, but also based on feedback we get from company like you, Imad. You know, you give us the material, the challenges you're facing on the field, and that inspire us to do the next innovation. And as you said, I think it's a lot of many small improvements to what we have, and I'm very excited because again, this is a training center. This is where we test ourselves first, our own people, you know, the first innovation we receive. But also beyond us testing, we choose partners like ALEC to test before even releasing those innovations to the market commercially. So you can give us feedback, especially, you know, in this region, you have special weather conditions, you know. We have also special, we believe the usage of the tool is much more aggressive than other markets. So ALEC helps us a lot in testing these innovation which we brings and give the feedback, and after that, we launch those innovations to the market.
Exactly, and the way we set it up in our company is that innovation is not actually the innovation team. It's actually everyone in the business who's giving this feedback. So when we have a new product or a new tool or a robot or anything that we bring from our partners around the world, we take them straight to site. We connect them with the right people on the project. They give them real feedback, much more than before this product or the robot or whatever it is commercialized. They give them real feedback for the sake of improvement. We're not competing actually. We want this product to work because it actually adds value to us. So we work very openly, open book, there is nothing to hide. And you know, this is the secret of making things work.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Hussam, Hilti and ALEC have worked together on different projects. How did this relationship start? What was the most successful collaboration? Can you just give us a bit more insights on that?
Yeah, I think the relationship is over 15 years for now.
Wow.
We worked in the majority of ALEC strategic projects, so we were with you guys on the airport. We are with you now on your all existing projects. I have to say the last few years the relationship improved a lot, especially on the collaboration on innovation and those productivity projects. And I think two factors helped this speed up and the new engagement we have. One, I think, is ALEC when they decided and created the innovation department. So we had now a clear partner to trigger this project and trigger the first discussion. But like Imad says, then the innovation team took us to the sites and we start trying these things. But also the other factor, I think the two top management of the companies came together and also agreed that beyond the daily commercial collaboration, they wanted to work together on how to test and how to take the industry here in our region to the future, and how we can implement all these small innovation, but I think they will impact the way we do construction today.
So I think there is the day-to-day, the business. We give business to Hilti. We're partners in that, but at the same time we work on long-term strategic goals, things that we care about, things that they care about, and we try to mature in this together. I mean, one thing to say is, I've been on the projects before, and then since we started with innovation, the relationship with, even before we met Hussam and the team from higher management from Hilti, the values between the account managers from Hilti and our guys is very close. It wasn't difficult to deal with the team from Hilti. And even when we met, we eventually went and met the team in Hilti head office in Shan in Switzerland. Also, the values are very common between the companies, and that makes things very easy. Everyone is thinking win-win. Everyone is thinking for the benefit of the industry. And, obviously everyone wants to have the benefit of their companies, but within the guideline that both need to win. And once you think this way, then the relation is very, very positive. We never had, it's just very easy. We talk casual, we're open, we share ideas. There are things, we tested many things with Hilti. Not everything is successful, obviously.
Do you have interesting example on collaboration and project you have?
Yeah, I think we will mention a few things, but what I'm trying to say here is that not everything needs to be successful. There are some stuff which might not work, but and this is innovation. Innovation is about allowing to test, to try. Some stuff will work, some stuff will not work. What's important is that we did our best to make it work. And because Hilti is an international company, and they actually have offices in how many countries do you have?
Almost more than 120 countries.
120 countries?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So, and then you see the products are actually designed for many markets. And not this is unique where we are here in the UAE and in this region. It's a unique market. We use our own labor here. We have thousands of labor. The challenges that we have in this part of the world might be different to challenges in Europe or in the US. That's why we have to adapt in any solution Hilti has or other companies to make sure it works for our industry. We give them real feedback and we try to make it work. Let's maybe kick off with some examples. Yeah.
I want to start with maybe cordless technology, Imad, because this is not something will be perceived by a lot as like a big innovation. Cordless tools, was around us for many years, even in the construction industry. But I think there was a lot of perceptions around cordless tool. We were always discussing, many people believe cordless tool is weaker in performance than corded one, and
this perception, by the way, some people have it until today.
Still today.
They think the cable, the unit with a cable actually performs better than the one with better.
But does it have the same power in general, or is it slightly lower?
No. It is exactly the same. Again, you have different tools with different capability. But if we take two tools, which is here in the market, they categorize it with kg, with the weight of the drill machine, for example. And if you take the two same category tool from cordless and corded, and we did this in many sites, you can prove 100% that Hilti cordless versus Hilti corded is exactly the same performance. Sometimes cordless is even little bit better in performance. Then the second question comes, but batteries, we used to take 8 hours to charge a battery of a tool. Nowadays, because of the technology, you can charge a battery for 30 minutes. So things are changing. Also the perception that in the beginning, if you're using a cordless tool, the power will be good, but then with the time, the power of the battery go down, the performance go down. But it's not true. It's like our mobiles, from 100 to 0, it's the same performance till the mobile is dead, So these are a lot of perception need to be changed.
But this is where, you see, this is where, again, that's where ALEC decided to have an innovation team that have a little bit longer term vision than the project specific. I mean, everyone wants to test new things, but we are a little bit thinking beyond the 6 months or 1 year. What we are actually doing now, we're putting strategies and policies in place to replace all our tools in future to be cordless. Obviously, this will be phased out in different phases. But just think from an industry perspective. I mean, we have so many issues on site having cables on the site. I mean, safety reports so many.
Where you trip and you trip and there's so
hazards.
many cables everywhere.
Many people go to site. Again, we have thousands. Just imagine we have thousands of people on our projects. They're going there to site trying to connect the power, and there's no place to put the power.
Yeah, that's true.
While the guy, when you have the tool with the cordless tool, you just walk in and start working. When you're done, just return it to the store. But the discussion about cordless and corded is much beyond just the tool performance. Obviously, we have to change the attitude of people to accept it. But again, you have to do so many things to support that, which is making sure the sites are equipped with all the facilities to charge. How do people receive and return? I mean, another example just to complement what Hussam was saying, we have to do a monthly check. Every month, we have to take all the tools back to store. Safety have to come and check them, and they have to tag them to say it's safe. Because it's power, and it's actually 110, even though it's a 110 tool, which is very safe, but you still have to do so many checks to make sure it is safe to be used. With battery, this is all gone.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's really, for me, it is an innovation because, if you can reduce, improve health and safety condition at the site, if you can improve productivity, like Imad is saying, and it will improve cost like no tomorrow. The amount of monies, company spend on extension cable is absolutely unneeded with cordless. So I think, although it's around us for many years, but the way now we trying to work with a company make that change is part of the innovation story we're trying to push with many companies. By the way, ALEC is doing already great job. Your M&E division, for example, is moved already on 100% cordless, so they don't.
Alemco 3 years ago, I believe, they've made the decision that every single tool it goes cordless. So what they agreed with Hilti to take all the corded tools and they replaced it all with cordless.
Yeah.
And that's what we're actually going to do within all other companies. We're making sure to do it in a phase-wise, but everything will be corded in the next few years.
Now,
cordless.
With M&E, it's easier because you don't need the heavy breakers, you don't need the coring machine, etc. So for your what we call BC, which is the ALEC division, for example, Hilti also, to go back to the innovation, start working and start releasing now big machineries on breakers. So now we can drill for big anchors, holes with battery operated tools. You can do braking with battery tools. In the future, we might see coring, done on battery. So we also, from our side, want to the whole industry provide them with their needs and try to have all our offering cordless as possible because of the huge benefits it brings.
But I think also, you see, even apart from Hilti, we went to Bauma, which is one of the biggest exhibitions in the world related to construction. This was 2 years ago in Germany. Every single company is moving to battery. Everything. Now, we're not talking now only tools. We're talking trucks. We're talking excavators. Everything is becoming non-powered. people are moving away from diesel, moving away from power into battery-operated equipment. And that is a trend that will continue to happen, and it will only move and move. I mean, obviously, it will be, whenever, if it's feasible, the change will start to happen slowly. But I think also this triggers one of the other things we worked on. You know, one time this Hilti on Track that we introduced with Hilti, and, you know, and then we were talking about it for a long time, whether we do Hilti on Track, whether we don't do Hilti on Track.
So what is Hilti on Track?
I think it's better for Hussam.
Hilti on Track is an asset management tool, and asset management tools are not something new, to be frank with you. And again, this is what Hilti good at. So in every ERB in the last 10, 15 years, those ERBs have modulars inside them where companies can use those modulars to manage their assets, so they know where their asset is going, where they're coming, the cost, etc., etc. But those are not built for construction industry mentality. And Hilti, because of our customer, comes to us and say, I'm losing my tools. I'm buying more tools that I need because I didn't know that I have this tool. I'm not sure I'm using my tools to the maximum I need. And then Hilti went and developed an asset management tool, but it is geared for the construction industry. It needs to be so simple, so an unskilled storekeeper and a labor are using. It needs to be simple for a job site condition, you know. So we build this asset management, and it is nothing more than, you know, a tool where you label all your assets you need, and then it helps you to know where these assets are in any minutes of time, and also help to issue tools to certain people when they come back, you know. So it always bring this, let's say, the visibility on your fleet, you know, so you don't need to have bigger fleet than you need, and utilize what you have.
So what used to happen in our case, we have a central store, and then we have stores on all the projects, you know, and then those guys are actually issuing. The central store issues tools to the stores, and then every month or every week they go and then consolidate what is there, what is here. But it was always not clear. No one is sure where are the assets. This is one thing. But the second thing is about, and this is something powerful, which when we consulted with Hilti and we said, come check our situation and tell us what we're doing, what can we improve. You know, we realized that there are some tools which are still under warranty, and because the guys could not find where the warranty cards are, they're ending up repairing them themselves. So because the visibility is not there, I mean, when you want to find if a tool is under warranty, you have to go and find in your papers, where did I keep that paper? And we're talking thousands of tools here. It becomes very difficult. We have 10,000 assets. It's become very difficult to look at all of them, while with Hilti on Track, it's all in one place. Gone. One time. When you tag them all, you know where it is. But the big game for us, the end game is not actually the tagging. The end game is actually utilization for us. The end game for us is we want to issue every single tool to our labor. We want to know who took it and for how long he's using it. That is a work in progress. It's not finalized yet, but we are working with Hilti, and we're developing solutions internally to make sure it happens. Now, the asset tracking is the first step. But the end game for ALEC is knowing how much the tools are working, which tool is working harder than the other. Why do I need 10,000 tools where I can maybe have 6,000 tools in the company? Making sure the tools are utilized at best.
So basically, you want to use Hilti on Track as well as a measurement tool of efficiency.
Exactly. And again, Hilti on Track does not force me to buy Hilti tools. I can actually use the tag system from Hilti on any tool, whether it's any other company. It's just the management system, which is called Hilti on Track.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you know, when to go back to the previous discussion, you know, when Hilti came and assessed our situation, we realized we have a high percentage of tools from Hilti, which is fine, but we also realized we have a very low percentage of cordless tools. And this is where when we assessed the whole situation, we said, you know what? We need to do something about this.
Yeah.
And then we are putting plans to, I think we had 17%
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Measuring this, yes.
But now we are around 30, and this will continue to change. We are actually putting KPIs on certain departments to make sure this changes.
But for us, why it's very interesting to work with Imad and the team in ALEC. They take tools from Hilti like OnTrack as asset management, and they think of utilization beyond sometimes what we thought ourselves and what we see maybe with some other customer. And for us, this is very interesting. And that's why, Imad also have a regular meeting with the team in headquarters who develop and continue to enhance the OnTrack. Because he give them ideas, why we don't do this, because this can save us one step here, because now he start using it, for beyond what we thought, for example, this tool need to do. And this is great in collaboration between companies like us, because this is what we need, We build this based on few feedbacks initially, but when users like ALEC start using this and find different uses in different ways, and then we need this feedback, and then we can enhance it further, and then we launch it again. So this is, for us, is very important beyond the commercial, gain.
I'm sure Imad challenge everyone.
But this is the whole innovation story, is about putting the long-term goals and see what you have today and see how do we get there. And then slowly, we are patient. We're not, with Hilti and with others, we're very patient. We know there are challenges, there is a roadmap, but we want to try to make sure that the end game reaches as fast as possible. Utilization is the thing for us, and this will get us there. It is the first step. But even with Hilti OnTrack and the asset tracking, the reality when you want to make sure these things happen on the projects, there's lots of change management that need to happen. These tags, you put them on a tool, tags sometimes get damaged, sometimes by mistake, sometimes because of the harsh environment. And also we're working with Hilti for some more durable tags. And this is where the collaboration is very important. It's not just, okay, give me the tag and they're gone. We're at constant talks with them to make sure the system is, so when a tag is damaged, what do we do? How do we replace it? How do we train? They have a guy from your guy, Gary. He actually knows all our storemen much better than many of our people. He knows them one by one. He goes to stores, he supports them, he trains them, he makes sure change management is happening. And then we continue on the long-term plan that we're working on.
What about concrete sensor?
This is something, I'm a civil engineer, so although I'm working for Hilti for the last 18 years, but for me it excites me a lot,
Okay.
And why I'm excited, because we also testing this with ALEC. It is something, at least to my knowledge, in our region here, I'm not aware of any other company is, testing that on job sites. And it's also something which is required a lot of working with the government and regulation if we decided to go ahead with it, Concrete sensor, I think for this region also is very, very important. This is the region where we want to be super fast. We want to cast concrete and load these concretes as fast as possible. And this is what concrete sensor help us to do. So they measure the temperature and the humidity in the concrete. So we will be able to know when we can do this concrete cube crushing, and then maybe we can speed up the way even further than the very fast construction we have today.
So the reality, in other part of the world, they don't have the challenges that the UAE specifically and the region request. And maybe in Europe and other countries, they will cast a slab every 7 days or 8 days, and it's fine. Here, we were at 5 days, and it's not fine anymore. 4, and then if we can take it to 3. This is what people want, a whole slab and move on. And the method before the concrete sensors is that you take lots of samples, like cubes, from the site, and then you crush them regularly to make sure if the strength is achieved in a slab. While with the concrete sensor is actually giving you real-time data, much more accurate than the crushed cube, because it's not sitting in the lab. It's sitting, I mean,
inside
maybe
the
to go a little bit, explain a little bit further. You take that concrete sensors, no cables, no wires, nothing. You just attach it to the rebar, and now you have real-time data from your slab. You come with your phone and it will tell you, yes, your slab is secure, move on.
So, okay, and it also tells you that there is a problem, and then you can solve. How does it work?
It just tells you that the slab is secure, means it's ready to remove maybe your formwork and the scaffold, and you can load it with other things. But even though it looks like a dream solution, you know, but this is where again the collaboration. That's why we think Hilti is a great partner with this, because there is lots of change management required here. Authorities does not allow, as of now, information from sensors. They still rely on the crushing method.
Yeah.
And this is where we need to work together, prove that the sensors actually provide much better data, and work together with Hilti to the authorities. We have the relation, they have the relation, but when we have testing from project site, real project sites, we're currently doing both methods. We'll go to them and say, guys, this is the situation. We've tested both methods. This is much more reliable. Would you consider this as one of the solutions moving forward? And this is where, you know, the innovation team, and ALEC in general, we think long term. We know where we're testing it today on this project. It will not be used on this project, but we might use it on the next project in 6 months or 1 year. And we're patient. We know this is coming, and we also know that concrete sensor cost will go down. And we will continue working with Hilti to make sure this technology is used. I mean, it's an IoT device, as simple as this, and gives you very, very powerful data.
Sounds very interesting.
True.
What future collaboration are you currently working on? Anything exciting, robot, or anything that you want to share with it?
The J-Boat story in UAE started also with ALEC. So before we went public, you know, and launched the J-Boat, which is the Hilti robotic drilling machine, we actually, the robot was in ALEC job sites for many months, but as a very secret, you know.
No one knew about it.
No one knew about it. And that was great, because for us, it's not only to test the machine working under the GCC condition, but also to test how the machine can work with our internal processes here, with construction company internal processes, and learn what we need to do.
We actually started our whole innovation work together because of the drilling robot. We didn't know it was called J-Bot then. You know, ALEC in 2017, we had a small team together, the robotics team. We said, okay, if we want to have a robot that comes to our construction sites, what does the robot need to do? And again, at that time, we said it needs to do many tasks. It needs to change its arm, many things. But we said the first task that we want to do with a robot is actually drilling. That's how we thought about it, and we actually wrote a document in place, and we shared it with many of the robotic companies. We actually had meetings with many different companies, and many of the established big companies, robotic companies, said it's actually very difficult to bring a robot to the site. Robots can be in factories, but not necessarily on site. And that was a little bit not very disencouraging for us. But then after more investigation, we realized that there is a company in Norway that was doing drilling robot, and we're like, oh, let's find out and talk to them. And then suddenly we heard that someone, Hilti, bought them, and then everything, the whole discussion, the whole news disappeared. I mean, Hilti are very secretive when they work on long-term strategic things, and we're like, what happened here? And then one day, I think there was a meeting, one of the very senior innovation.
The executive board member.
Was visiting one of ALEC projects, and then they said, okay, let's walk around. And we said, what about, we heard that you guys have a robot that you're drilling. He said, oh, okay, you know about it. Then we decided to meet afterwards, and we agreed to go and meet in Switzerland in their headquarters. And this is where we signed some agreements, and we said, this J-Bot need to come to ALEC project in the Middle East, in the UAE, and test it on our project, and we are providing all the support needed to make sure it actually works. And you know, the reality is the J-bot is amazing. You know, just compare what we do today to what the J-bot does. What we do today, we have lots of drawings. Some projects have BIM, which is all the drawings are in digital format. Some project doesn't have BIM. We're trying to move a lot with digitization and BIM. Now, the labor and the foreman on site have to go and measure off. They take the information from drawings, they go to the site and they measure off. They go and measure, this is where, they put it on the floor, and then they transfer it to the ceiling. They say, this is where the drilling point needs to be. Then they will have to put a ladder or a scaffold, they go up, and then they drill. And this happens with every single discipline, means plumbing, firefighting, electrical. You know, one of the innovations we did actually 2 years ago where we said one team goes and does all the drilling for everyone. But then with the J-bot comes to the site, it allocates itself, you just set it up, it knows where it is. It takes the information from the BIM model, it feeds it all there. And then it goes within the, I think it's 3.5 meter radius.
2 meter
2 meter radius, and it does all the drills, all the holes one time.
And then it moves to the second point.
And then it moves to the next point. You know, and not only, first of all, and if something is blocking its way, it will inform the operator.
So I'm sure we will see it outside, but if there's something, an obstacle or something, can the robot avoid it and move on?
I mean, again, we have an operator to move the robot from A to B because it's not allowed otherwise. The technology will allow us for the robot to drive itself, but it's not allowed yet, you know?
Okay.
So you still move it from A to B, but the moment he stations himself in A, then he drill all the holes by himself. There is no operator involved in that point. And with that, you can avoid obstacle, you know?
But what's important is if it's drilling in the soffit, in the ceiling, and if there is anything, an obstacle there, it has its own sensors that tells you, okay, listen, I cannot do this. You know, and then it feeds back. And another powerful thing, this is a challenge maybe that's always been there, is that the robot tells you exactly where it drilled. So you have where it's meant to drill and where it actually drilled, which is normally the same. But in real life, it doesn't necessarily be the same. And the other thing, it tells you how much it drilled, which is so important because many times you're trying to drill and then something stops you, or there is a rebar in the slab and you just decide to stop. While the J-bot, it actually tells you have drilled 40 mm. So you have a certainty that every single hole you drilled is right.
Yeah, you eliminate human error here also, you know, because many times the labor, as Imad saying, you know, he cannot go further, you know, and not every time he have an issue, he will call an engineer, and then the guy will come and maybe fix the anchor, and the anchor will not be set safe in that. So it's not a small thing, you know. We hear a lot in many projects around the world that the ceiling, the supports falling down. Sometimes not because of the quality of the anchor, it's because of the quality of installation of that anchor. So this is very crucial.
So it's giving you an as-built. Actually, it's giving you an as-built of what's done completely, and then with no the depth of the drill. Obviously, the J-bot is in its current situation is just the first phase. We know Hilti are actually working on next phases, and it's very exciting where it need to go, you know. But also we're patient. We're working for the long term. You know, one of the first comments we said that the J-bot also need to put the unifix,
the anchors.
Yeah. But again, this will come. We know they're working on it. This will be coming in phases. But we're also happy to use it today, and we're happy to use it in future.
Do you see another robot coming soon for Hilti?
I'm not, you know, Hilti is doing a lot of joint venture at the moment when it comes to this type of robotic technology. I'm not sure if it will be a different robot, but definitely the J-bot is evolving also. So we have a lot of application related to drilling and anchor, which come in the future. Most probably I cannot talk about them now, but it was very clear that, you know, the J-bot is just the, let's say, release number one. So it's not built to do what it do only today. It's just a start, because we didn't want also to delay that and come after 3 years with the J-Bot doing 3 different things. We said, let's release now, with only drilling on the slab, on the soffit, and then we start releasing the, let's say, the enhancement or the new application. So, no, but I think it was an exciting journey with
it is actually very, very exciting. You see, the change management, again, robots going to site is, I mean, people just look at the exciting part of a robot going to site. But the real thing is, what do you need to do? What processes you need to change to make sure the robot can work? I mean, the robot needs to work in a clean environment. You should not have obstructions. You need to be able to give it enough. One of the issues is that, when the robot is there, you need to have enough points for the robot to work. With a labor, you send a labor, okay, do 100 points and come back. With a robot, for it to be efficient, you need to give it 500 points, because it will do them all in one day. Do you have? It's just.
Do you have enough points for the robot?
Yeah, different challenges will arise. You go to site. What we normally do, and this is something we learned also through the process. We normally go to a new floor, we clean the whole floor, and then we go and put our lighting. Let's say we go and put lighting for our labor to see where to work. Now, when the J-Bot came to start working, it identified the lighting as an obstacle. Yeah. So one of the things we learned through the process is that the J-Bot need to go in before the lighting, because actually the J-Bot does not need lighting. And we started moving the lighting after the J-Bot, and this is part of the.
And this is challenges is only Hilti is facing here is different than the challenges they faced, for example, in Switzerland or in the US when they tested the J-Bot, because there is no hurry for a slab or an area to put the lighting and bring the people after 1 week of casting. They don't have that tight schedule time. They take more time in planning, but when they execute, it is not so rushed also. And when we start telling them about these things, it was also very interesting for our team in headquarters, because this issue, they didn't face it. The job site which we visited in Liechtenstein didn't have any of this optical, and it was not like a studio, it was a real job site, but totally looked different than our job sites. There was nothing there except the J-Bot and was drilling, and when the J-Bot will finish, other services and people will come. But our job site doesn't look like that.
In this part of the world, again, when we saw it in Switzerland, was it like a dream? The J-Bot is working alone on the whole floor. While here, that the slab is cleared, it's cleaned. Now you have 20 teams trying to, the block work guys are setting up, the surveyor is working, the MEP guys are working. And now you want to go and tell them, by the way, guys, just relax. The J-Bot need to come and drill.
But the J-Bot is a lot faster than humans. So.
It does. But
this is where the planning.
What we had to do, we had to bring the whole civil team, MEP team. We brought them all in one room. We said, guys, this is the situation. We need the J-Bot to actually be efficient, and to be efficient, and for all of us to be efficient. This is the steps that we need to follow. And the first surprise was that because it was a secretive tool. I mean, no one knew about the J-Bot. Many people from the project did not know the J-Bot was there.
And that was also one of the challenges. We were working in a very complicated site, and even the management, some management of the project didn't know that this J-Bot is there. So definitely the coordination and this what we're discussing at the moment was not easy. And when we decided to sit and coordinate and make a bigger team, then people were surprised.
Yeah, everyone was in. Yes, we need to make it work. I mean, it's exciting.
No, it's very exciting.
And then the only problem we had is that people cannot take picture with the J-Bot, because everyone wanted to take a picture with the J-Bot.
Now we can, but before,
it was October when you guys launched it.
October worldwide was October.
It's launched commercially. Before that, it was not. It was on site, working, testing, providing feedback, and
I was very happy and proud, because I mean, the Middle East is very important region for Hilti, but also when we talk about revenue, we are not the biggest. You have the North America, you have Germany, etc. But This J-boat was one of only 2-3 J-boats around the world who've been tested here in Dubai, you know, and with a company like ALEC. So I think we also internally had a big, let's say, proud on this initiative. Actually, when we went to Liechtenstein, I saw the J-boat first time when Imad saw the J-boat. So, and I have to say, I was, when I saw it, I still thought they will take us and show us like a prototype. But when I saw it, I didn't believe my eyes. And then I looked to Imad, I looked to Hirko, and I saw them also like surprised because there was a finished product. He was finished
product. I think
product.
the only discussion we had there is then when it will be in Dubai.
In Dubai, yeah.
That's how, when we saw it working, we said like, it was, I think, March or April. Yeah. We said, okay, when are you bringing it to Dubai? And then obviously we agreed the steps, and then it was...
The other nice thing I want to mention, you mentioned this wish list. I still have it with me, you know. When your team before knows that Hilti, ALEC people build like one pager saying what they want this J-boat to look like. And when we went there and we showed them this and we look, I think like 80-90%, it was like 100% match. So you wanted something to drill, you wanted the size not to be more than 90 so it can enter all the doors. You know, so I think
it need obviously to walk through doors, right? Yeah. Because it need to. We said it need to allocate itself. The size of it was there. The weight was very important.
So you can handle from.
And you know, the good thing is that Hilti ticked. Obviously, they've done lots of homework on it, and they ticked most of the boxes, which was amazing.
Are we getting one in ALEC?
I think the business model for Hilti, we're not selling the J-boats around the world. So okay. we use them as a service. Again, this is today. So tomorrow things might look different, you know. Yeah. But at the moment, we have...
It makes sense. It makes sense for them to operate it because they also see all the challenges, and also it allows them to keep building on top of it. You know, if you get it today and phase 2, maybe it will do something else. Do you really want to have it today when phase 2 is coming in 6 months?
Yeah, you know? So we at the moment, the idea is we keep it with us, and companies can utilize the service of the J-boat.
We're actually doing a business case currently with one of the universities in UAE about the J-boat and what we have learned through the whole process, the change management, the organization, what need to happen on sites for it to work, the safety. I mean, we forgot to mention how much safer for a J-bot or a drilling robot to work on site. You know, it's going there, it just, no scaffolding, no ladders, just goes and drill. You know, it's much more safer to use a tool like this.
Yeah.
So we're working on this case study with Hilti and ourselves and that university, and I think it will be ready for one of the robotic exhibitions that's happening in Dubai.
In 2021.
Yeah.
So Imad, let's continue with you. What's, in your opinion, will be the game-changing idea in the construction industry in this region in the future?
You know, I don't believe in the one game-changer idea. Because I think it's all about continuous movement, improvements all the time. But there are big trends happening around the world and also happening in the construction industry. Digitization is one of the big things that's happening. You know, after COVID, this thing have also boosted big time. Modular is also another big trend that's happening. But again, for that modular to work, then all the design, all the drawings need to be finalized. This was the modular has been there for many years, maybe tens of years or decades. It's just that the attitude is changing towards finishing the design early to allow modular to be efficient. Similar to the robots. Some robots have been developed in the 90s and in the 2000s, early in the last decade. But again, the attitude towards us, we're accepting it more. We are accepting to change our processes to allow this technology to assist us. So I think modular 3D printing is another thing coming also to our field, slowly gaining lots of attraction. We're doing lots of exciting stuff related to 3D printing. And but all all of this, I think, is all about BIM. We didn't mention BIM, but for me, BIM, important about BIM is actually it is the base for everything. You know, the JBOD does not, it's actually will not be as efficient if the BIM was not there. That's why the BIM is the core. We need BIM because it allows everything else to happen. Then data, you know. Now, this is where all of these digital tools, you know, with the Hilti on Track, we just mentioned it before, it's giving us, and not only Hilti on Track, all the different sensors, IoT sensors, or going and checking or tracking different things. It is giving us data which we never had before. So now we can benchmark. We say, you know, the JBOD could do 500 drills per day. We knew what people could do before, but it was collecting information from so many different things. But now that it's digital, it's finished. All the information is kept. I mean, with Hilti on Track, we forgot to mention this. We actually, we started with just tracking tools. But from there, we started building on top of that. Then we spoke about the safety. You know, again, every month, we take all the tools back and we tag them with a physical paper. We said, okay, but now the Hilti on Track is there. Why do we need to do this process? Why can't we do it digitally? I mean, the guys can walk on site, scan the code, and you know that it's tagged. So many things will evolve, I think, with the...
I fully agree, Imad. I think, you know, we will see a lot of adaptation from different industry. You know, this robotic, like Imad saying, it's nothing new in automobile industry. It was there for many years. But now we will start seeing more in construction. Oil and gas industry, the way they used to build in oil and gas is, you know, BIM, for example, is not something new. But I agree with Imad, BIM today, we have a lot of BIM, but I think the utilization of BIM is still, from change management and process, is still we will see a lot of development in this field. Today, the BIM is being used in a different level. So we can see utilization up to usage of training. You know, today you don't need to finish building a hospital to bring the staff and training them. Actually, in the second building here behind us in our head office, we have, I show it to Imad, we have what we call virtual reality room, where you are inside the 3D model. So if you have a hospital, for example, you can bring your staff and then you start training them on, you know, on how they work in the hospital, how they walk, how they use this, how to go in emergency. So I think there is a lot of utilization for existing technology today and adaptation and change management, and this is what will create the next evolution in the construction industry we see today.
But Hussam, it actually started to happen. You know, we had two of the projects. We recently concluded our projects competition, and the amount of utilization, and specifically for complicated projects.
Yes.
Very complicated projects. We have a project which is lots of coasters, roller coasters inside, and the whole project is very complicated. And you could not build it without BIM.
Yeah.
And what the team have done there, they've taken BIM actually to the next level. So there is lots of improvement, and then we're also measuring the benefit that we realize from BIM. Yeah. And as we move forward, more and more projects will...
Absolutely. But I think, you see, this project, because you showed me, I think in few years, I don't know if it's 5 or 10, all the project will be built like this. And Hilti also is working towards that goal. One, you were asking us, you know, about problems and how we can work with that. Fire sealant, we didn't talk about fire stop or what's called passive fire system. There is something, not with ALEC, in the whole industry, when they price a project, they tend to sometimes price it wrong on this item. And in specific projects like airport or hospital, you know, highly specified, that mistake could cost a company millions of dollars, you know. But now if you have a BIM model to really very high detail, the same way you show me this project, then Hilti have a tool add on that BIM, which by a push button, you know, you just press a button, and then it will calculate for you all the quantity, and it will tell you if the way you're planning to build matching the codes and approval, or you need to change little bit your design to have a solution which is economical. So you can adjust these things and end up saving millions, and at least you know how much it will cost you, so you bid in a right way, and you don't get surprised towards the end of the project. You estimate 1 million, you finish with 20 million, and so on. And I think this is just a small example of what BIM, if you take BIM to the end, like it's happening in few strategic projects, you know. But I think the future is that all projects will be built like that, and get a lot of utilization of these features and benefits.
I think also that you mentioned the fire sealant. You know, one of the collaboration between ALEC and Hilti on a strategic level is that we have formed a team now to do some of the projects fire sealant, because this is one of the activities which was never, you know, we estimated, but it was always above budget. And what we made sure here is to create a team to work with the current teams to do the sealant as we go. And what we learned there is that while we're doing this, actually when you build the blockwork or the opening, now the sizes of these openings, we make sure we do it right, because it's our own team following up for the sealant. So the benefit is actually massive from these kind of things. But you asked me about the next big thing. I think, you know, it's the adaptation of people, then the processes, and then the technology to support that. However, the companies that manage to do this properly, people is first. These are the winners. These are the companies that will be winners in future. You know, all other trends, you have to make sure you are staying relevant, utilizing these tools and technologies, but it's the people and the processes that allows these tools to be used on your projects. If we don't do that, a JBot cannot work on site, you know?
Many of innovation will not work. Yes. Absolutely, yes.
So it's mainly the people and your attitude to accept and take risks. We have to take a little bit measurable risks. Again, we're in an industry where the, you know, you don't have unlimited amount of cash that you can spend. And that's why we partner with innovative companies, because they can do the R&D. We cannot do lots of the R&D in-house. But we take measurable risks, we test, we try, and if we have to fail, we have to fail fast. But if it has a provisional, we think it will work, we will push as much as we can to make it work.
I think technology needs courage a little bit, you know, and take some risk and test and see what works and what doesn't. But also I think because we are engineers, and risk and engineering, it doesn't go normally, it doesn't gel well together, you know, because we don't like to take too much risk. But I think, you know, look to this pandemic, you know. With this pandemic, in the Middle East here, always we said, you know, we don't need to build like in Europe, because we have unlimited resource of labor, and it's not too expensive like in Europe and in the US. But what happened in the pandemic, you have half of your team is in quarantine, and they cannot come to the job site. So what you do? You stop the job site? We cannot stop the job site. So we had to adapt that, start thinking that this is not sustainable, that you have unlimited resource. Also the skills we start seeing in the last few years, because also the resources where this labor force is coming, there is a growth in their countries, and they staying there because there is opportunity to build and grow. So two things we start feeling here, that, you know, the number might not be available always, but also the skill is going. And with that, I think it inspired and encouraging a lot of companies to test those new solutions, because they have to now, you know, they forced to do this.
But also, you know, from our side, I mean, we've been doing innovation for a couple of years. We're starting to take more risk, because now we have more confidence. You test one solution, you know it works, it adds value, then you take a little bit more risk, then you take a little bit more risk. Then, you know, I mean, just look at our evolution from the innovation, what we do in ALEC. What we used to do 4 years ago is is not as significant to compare to today. We're exponentially taking bigger risks, bigger debts, trying new things. We're changing big time. You know, the culture which was maybe not allowing failure is changing. You know, we are all accepting failure across. I mean, we're sending a survey now about culture. You know, and most people now in the company are saying, test. It's okay to fail. You know, this was not a trend a few years ago. This is changing. We're becoming, as an industry, we're accepting the startup mentality. You know, previously also, people will not accept a JBot when it does not do everything. Now, we're saying, you know what, bring it in, and we evolve with it, because we know phases will come. We don't want to wait 5-10 years for the JBot to be perfect to come to site.
Talking about the JBot, should we go and have a look?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you ready, guys? Let's go.
All right, well, we are now outside and we are next to the JBot, so very exciting. So can you just tell us what's going on, what's going to happen?
I mean, this is our demo area for the JBot.
Yeah.
So you don't see it, but all the data, the BIM data is being loaded to the cloud.
Yeah.
So the JBot can position himself. We have the advanced layout, which is like the eyes of the JBot. So he knows where he is. And then he will start drilling for us. Yeah?
Okay, great. Can we see it in action?
Yes.
Yeah?
Asrar, can we start?
Oh wow.
So you see that JBot has an arm,
Yeah.
and it can actually drill all around in a radius.
And all the data are already inside.
Exactly.
And you see why we talk about health and safety, because you know you see no dust, so there is a vacuum also attached,
Taking everything.
taking all the dust out, and you know.
And the JBot actually knows how deep it drills.
Yeah, so you have a very sophisticated camera also on the top, so it measures how far from the concrete, so it drills the
Which is quite
right
important to understand.
But if you see also another powerful thing with the JBot is just it's marking for the trade. That spray that it's spraying is actually tells you what trade. Like if we say firefighting is 1 dot, plumbing is 2 dots, electrical is 3 dots. So when the next trade comes, they know which hole is for them. So you see there is a spray.
So everything is color coded.
Everything is color coded.
Yes.
Okay.
See, it's spraying. So now the next activity comes and know which hole is for him.
This is extremely impressive.
And you see the speed also, so you know. And all that is not controlled by the operator. So this is the JBot is drilling by itself. The operator will only move from A point to B point. But the drilling is happening automatically.
And you see also the sensors out there. There is a sensor there and a camera. If there is anything disrupting the JBot operation, it will stop. It will not hit anything, any obstruction. Hussam, I think the JBot can reach up to
5.3 if I'm not
5.3 meter, which is
5.3. So how fast can it? How many? It's 500.
I mean, in 8 shift, normally in 8-hour shift, it can do up to 500.
I think the challenge will never be how much the JBot can drill. The challenge will always be how much we have for it. Yes. Area is not information, it's just how much space we have for it to work.
Yeah.
But it's, I'm glad to see it branded, you know, when it was on
because
site.
on site was camouflaged, yeah?
Yes, it was no brand.
Because it was not.
So now it's going to move from point A to point B.
Yes, and this is where the operator,
the regulations in Europe, as of now, is that it cannot be fully autonomous until now.
Yeah.
That's why the operator duty is just to move it from point A to point B, and then he will put it in autonomous mode, and then it will drill autonomously.
But we are ready. The moment they allow it, there will be no operator for the JBot.
And in this, in UAE, What's the regulation?
It's same. I think it's following. So, but for us in Hilti also it's very difficult to have, you know, such a technology only for here. So I think this need to be worldwide allowed, and then this is what can be changed. Yeah. So we can go another set of drills.
Just imagine. I mean, I just want you to imagine. In a normal situation, if I'm a labor, which I need to do these 9 holes, I would have had to shift maybe my scaffold or my ladder a few times.
Yeah.
And then when I want to go to the next point, I have to also mark it before I start drilling. I have to mark it on the floor.
And transfer
Then
it.
I need to transfer it to the soffit and then make sure I drill one by one. And then when I'm done, I have to go down. Someone to help me to move my ladder. Someone need to hold the ladder as well. For it because it's as per safety, someone need to hold it, and then he goes and move to the next activity. While with the J-bot, is all of this is done.
And as you can see, the J-bot is cordless also, so there is no electricity or power. It's battery operated, and for the full 8-hour shift, it can work. And then when he finish, he goes to his charging station, and then he get charged for the next shift. So
amazing.
Yeah.
All right, well, sounds good to me. Thank you so much for your time. It was extremely interesting. Really appreciated being on site with you. And I'm sure we'll have a next one for the next robot or the next innovative tool implemented by both of us.
It's actually very, very interesting times. You know, lots of things happening around the world in the last 2-3 years, and it will start paying off as we go. You know, every year there will be new things.